Alright everyone, so we have a great new game sent in, so let's go ahead and let's take a look at it. Let's get right into it today. So, we have e4, c5, so a Sicilian defense. And yeah, this is definitely like the most popular response to e4, it seems. And on the note added in, it says that I normally don't feel comfortable playing the Sicilian due to the complicated positions that arise. And if you don't like the complicated positions, my first idea is if you don't want to play those crazy positions in the Sicilian, some great options are knight c3. That's what I used to play a long time ago, and I had pretty good success with it. Another good possibility that I've tried out at some point was c3 on the second move, and the idea is that you're going to play c3 and then play d4 on the next move. And there's a lot of other cool options like that, but those are the two recommendations that I would give. And you can try those out. And of course, there's always the open variation, which is played in this game. Let's go take a look. Knight c6. Knight c6 isn't the most common. Usually they go knight f6 first. And that's kind of the main option. There's of course tons of options with Sicilians. There's so many variations, but that leads to the knight or Sicilian. You know, that's the most popular one. Let's go and let's take a look and let's advance a little bit. Okay, and here bishop c4 is played. There is this nice move that could be played as knight to d5, with the idea that if, say, knight takes d4, bishop takes, and you're threatening the rook, and also you're threatening to get into b6, and you can mess some stuff up. Another idea would be after d5, if, say, instead of taking, say, something like rook b8, then you can just take. The idea of the rook moving to b8 is there's a potential of a knight getting in here. You know, and there's a lot of tactical things going on here, and rook to b8 is actually probably the best move that can be played there. I won't go too into depth with all the crazy tactics because the Sicilians are just a mess sometimes. And also, I wanted to talk about this position here for a minute. You know, Sicilian games are so complicated, I want to make sure I have time to talk about the things that I want to talk about. So let's see here. So here the note says, I wondered how he would respond to the threat of the checkmate. For those of you, by the way, paying attention, those move threatens a checkmate. Okay, how he would respond to the threat of checkmate. The engine gives the best move as knight to e5. If that was played, I would have played this following variation, which we're going to show. So let's put that on here. So knight to e5, queen e2. So queen e2 would be played, and then you're redefending the bishop. And so that's what will be played. I think, though, one thing I want to say is, I think that after queen e3, knight e5, knight e5, I just want to put that on board, e6 was played in the game, but I think that black is doing better after taking the bishop, because this bishop looks pretty good here on this diagonal. I mean, you're checking f7, and this is going to be a faster paced game with the Sicilian, so a lot of the times the bishops are better. And at least in this, what we have going on here, the bishop is going to be a better piece than the knight. Let's go ahead and let's resume looking at the game. e6. Let's keep going. Okay. While it was possible for me to castle kingside, I'm reading the note, by the way, I decided to do it queenside for 3 reasons: because it protected my king, defended the knight, and eyes down the d file where the queen is. However, it also puts the queen and rook on the diagonal, which later causes some problems. Okay, and so you can go either way. Usually in most Sicilians, it seems like the more popular way is to go queenside for a large number of reasons. And I think the biggest one is probably that if the black king goes kingside, which most of the time will, if castling at all, and the idea is that you can run your pawns, and you can go in pawn storm. So let's keep going for the game. Castles kingside, bishop e3, e5. I give this move a question mark for the black pieces for a couple different reasons. One, we are weakening d5. Now there's this weak square here. Two, the bishop is now open. You know, before it was hitting e6, now it's hitting on f7, so the bishop just got improved. And third, yeah, that's what it was. I said it was blocked in the bishop. That's what it was. I was trying to remember what my third point was. Was it blocks in the bishop? Because this bishop before, you know, was on this nice diagonal, but now the black pawn is in the way. It's getting on its own way. Okay. Next, okay, take, g3. So yeah, g3 is a little bit, I think, of the not the best things we could be doing. I would think immediately go h4 with the idea of playing h5, immediately try to get our pawns and start breaking up our opponent's king, because that's what we want to hit. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, g4. So bishop is going to come to g4 eventually on this next move here. I think that this plan, though, the black pieces had, aside from creating this g4 bishop threat, is actually not in the favor of the black pieces, because you're pushing your own pawns in front of your king, which is something you never really want to be doing. Okay, and even though we're losing the exchange here, I still think that the white pieces are not doing so badly, because you know, this is going to be an opposite side castling battle where things are going to be happening fast, so you know, you can try to say, well, maybe I can still make something happen. And so even though the rook is obviously a more powerful piece, during the middle of the game it won't be felt as much when the rooks don't have as much to do. And I think immediately the white pieces should play g4 and start making conflict with the pawns. I don't think like f4 is as good of a way of trying to create the problems that we want. Let's go ahead and let's keep looking through the game. Okay, here I'm still thinking g4 here, but actually f5 isn't as bad either. Like they're both creating conflict. I would just go g4 first. Okay, and let's keep going. I wanna get ahead a little bit to the next position I wanted to look at, which was here. A takes b3. I think this was the right way to take back, because we want to get our queen closer to the king faster, and if we take with the queen, then we're slowing ourselves down. So let's go ahead. Here, interesting variation. We could do like this, and I think this is really powerful. In the game, queen g5. Okay, and this is also good. Maybe not as crushing immediately, but we're still getting our queen close to our opponent. And let's go here. Okay, yeah, you want to continue with your attack. Don't worry about your opponent. You want to keep attacking your opponent's king. And let's go here. So yeah, this is pretty much over now, because this attack is breaking through, and this king is facing, you know, all of this. This king has no cover, and it's pretty much just over now. Like, once that starts happening, and your king is that vulnerable, getting attacked by all of this, and your piece, your like rook is over here, and he doesn't have any defense, then it's done. Okay. So yeah, you are right. You did so. You overlooked the fact that the pawn could just promote with a discover check, and then you have your queens, and that's just winning immediately. Knight b6 is actually, while not like losing or anything, there is some possibilities for some complications after knight c6, when maybe things get a little more complicated, you know, something like that happens. Knight b6, so eventually you get the discover check with the queen, and eventually after this move played, the black pieces ran out of time, and so the white pieces won. So, an interesting game. The Sicilian is always full of interesting possibilities and very aggressive games with lots of fast things happening, and usually opposite side castling as well. So yeah, so interesting game, and there's some interesting points there. I hope that this helps you learn some chess ideas, and I suggest trying out some of those other Sicilian openings if you're not quite happy with the open Sicilian. Alright, so that'll be all. See you later.